Simply the largest, most expensive, most powerful, and arguably the most controversial dam in all of history. Today, we take you to China.
China is building the world's biggest dam in Tibet. This dam would make its Three Gorges Dam smaller.
We're going to visit the Three Gorges Dam. It's the largest hydropower dam in the world.
Ships aren't supposed to fly, but in China they do. China generates more hydropower than any other country on Earth, more than the US, Brazil, and Canada combined. But energy was just the beginning. In a remote corner of the country, engineers pulled off something no one thought possible. They didn't just build a dam. They made ships climb mountains. Real steel vessels hundreds of tons in weight, rising vertically through the sky like elevators on water. No myths, no science fiction, just precision, machinery, and raw ambition. It's one of the most extreme engineering feats ever attempted. But why go this far? What was China trying to prove? And why are global powers suddenly paying attention? Stick around, because what you'll see by the end will completely change how you think about infrastructure, power, and the future of engineering. Deep in the mountains of China lies the Baihetan Hydropower Station. It's not the largest dam in the world, but what it does is far more incredible. Most dams block rivers and make ship transport nearly impossible. But here, the Chinese found a way to turn that problem into a superpower. With an elevation difference so extreme, traditional locks wouldn't work. So they didn't bother with locks. They went bigger, much bigger. This is where ships don't just pass through, they climb. The terrain is unforgiving, the engineering stakes sky high. Yet this project didn't just succeed, it rewrote the rulebook. It became a symbol of what's possible when limitations are treated as challenges, not dead ends. To make this madness real, engineers built a multi-stage ship lift system. Think of it as a vertical railway, but for ships. One vessel at a time enters a massive chamber, surrounded by steel and hydraulics. Then, slowly and precisely, it begins to rise, or fall, depending on where it's going. Each stage lifts the ship with such accuracy, the margin of error is less than 10 millimeters. And the whole trip, once a 4-day journey through winding mountain routes, now takes just 2.5 hours. Earthquakes? Doesn't matter. The safety system can handle an 8.0 magnitude quake. Wind, waves, terrain, none of it stops this machine. And with each lift, China proves that no mountain is too high when you have the tools and the will to climb it. These aren't your typical lifts. One chamber is 40 meters long and 12 meters wide. It can carry a 500-ton vessel as high as 72 meters in minutes. And depending on the river's level, that lift can stretch to 200 meters. That's taller than the Statue of Liberty, almost as high as the Great Pyramid of Giza. The engineering behind it is nothing short of surreal. Each movement is calculated, each load is balanced. Every second is backed by years of precision planning. It's not just one lift either. It's 3 separate ones, each handling different height levels, combining into a journey that feels more like flying than sailing. Watching it in action feels less like transport and more like witnessing a miracle of modern mechanics. The magic isn't just in lifting the ships, it's in connecting the lifts with water channels carved through mountains. Between each vertical lift lies a water path, an open conduit engineered right into rugged rock. Some of these lifts raise ships up to 130 meters in one go. Add it all up, and you're talking about lifting a ship the equivalent of a 66-story building. And yet, it all works. Smoothly, silently, without drama. Only precision. The coordination between each stage, each channel, and each elevation is masterful. It's not just a transportation system, it's an orchestration of power, patience, and planning. And every time a ship makes the climb, it's a quiet reminder that China isn't just building infrastructure, it's building legacy. This wasn't cheap. The entire Baihetan system cost $7.775 billion. But that money wasn't wasted, not even close. With an annual cargo capacity of nearly 3 billion tons, the return is undeniable. These aren't vanity projects. They're critical arteries pumping trade through one of the most logistically difficult regions in the country. Before this, transporting goods through these mountains meant danger, delay, and massive inefficiency. But now, ships glide across terrain that once seemed impossible to conquer. This single investment transformed not just a region, but an entire supply chain. And in today's world, where every hour matters and every ton counts, that's priceless. Sure, trucks exist, trains too. But in mountainous terrain like this, they're barely usable. A truck can carry 23 tons. A barge can do 500. One barge replaces dozens of trucks, slashing fuel costs and risk. Railways face another problem: the terrain makes track laying nearly impossible. Narrow roads, fragile bridges, and constant landslide threats make trucking a logistical nightmare. Water transport just makes more sense, especially when you've got a river system and the will to re-engineer it. The decision wasn't just smart, it was necessary. And by choosing water, China didn't just move goods faster, it moved ahead. When the world saw this, reactions poured in. Infrastructure experts called it a marvel. International Shipping Association said it redefined the possibilities of inland navigation. And ordinary people couldn't believe it was real. Comments ranged from, "If this were in the US, it would take 100 years," to "Only China could build something like this and make it look easy." Engineers admired the precision. Economists praised the impact. And for anyone who understands what it takes to build at this scale, this was more than a lift system. It was a flex, a reminder that in the world of infrastructure, China's not playing catch-up. It's setting the pace. And Baihetan isn't even the only one. The Three Gorges Dam, another Chinese masterpiece, has a ship lift too. It hoists ships up to 3,000 tons. The chamber? Big enough to hold 4 Olympic-sized swimming pools. The lift? Finishes in 40 minutes flat. Compare that to the traditional 5-stage lock system next door, which takes 4 hours. Speed matters. Volume matters. And China knows it. With this kind of innovation, it's not just about getting from A to B. It's about redefining what's possible. What was once a bottleneck has become a streamlined gateway, faster, safer, and more efficient than anyone thought possible. And that's no accident. That's planning with vision. This isn't just about ships, or rivers, or mountains. It's about what a nation can do when it decides not to follow but to lead. Every project like this tells a bigger story, of resilience, of vision, of breaking the rules and building new ones. China's infrastructure isn't just shaping its own future, it's changing how the entire world thinks about what's possible. These projects aren't stunts, they're statements. Proof that with enough ambition, resources, and focus, even the most impossible terrain can be conquered. While other countries debate budgets, delay permits, and get stuck in endless planning, China is laying concrete, welding steel, and opening routes through mountains that once seemed unpassable. This isn't just about convenience, it's about strategy, it's about global influence. And it's a reminder that in the 21st century, power isn't just about armies or economies, it's about who builds faster, better, and bolder. This revolution isn't coming, it's already here. And it's being built one mega project at a time. So what's next? If ships can sail over mountains, where does the imagination stop? High-speed trains racing across deserts? Floating cities anchored off remote coasts? Underground freight tunnels connecting continents? With every new project, China keeps pushing the edge of what's possible, not just within its borders, but across the globe. From Africa to Southeast Asia, it's exporting not just technology, but a new blueprint for progress. And if this ship lift is just one chapter in the story, the next one could be even more unbelievable. If this stunned you even a little, don't let it end here. Like the video, share it with someone who needs to see this, and subscribe to the channel for more stories that make you question what's real. And tell us in the comments, what do you think China will build next? Because with the way things are going, nothing's off the table.